Okay, so there's 5 ways to prove a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Quadrilateral being a 4-sided shape. If your 4-sided shape has any one of these conditions, then it is a parallelogram. So the first condition would be opposite sides are parallel. And I'm going to abbreviate. Opposite sides are parallel. And I will draw a parallelogram here. And so opposite sides are parallel. That means that this side is parallel to this, and this side is parallel to this. So if you see that the opposite sides are parallel, both sets, then you have a parallelogram. Next, number 2, opposite sides are congruent. Opposite sides are congruent. So opposite sides congruent, that means opposite sides are the same length. So like this is the same length as this, and this is the same length as this. Then number 3, opposite angles are congruent. So opposite meaning like diagonal. So like this angle is the same as this, and then this angle is the same as this. And if that condition exists, then you have a parallelogram. Number 4, one pair of opposite sides are parallel and congruent. So one pair of opposite sides are parallel and congruent. So that means that one pair, so like these opposite sides, same length, and then they're also parallel. Okay, and number 5, the last one, the diagonals bisect each other. I just spelled that. Diagonals bisect each other. And I'll show you what that means too. Here's our parallelogram. These are the diagonals. You can see that these diagonals, they aren't the same length. Like this one's definitely longer than this one. But what it means by like they bisect each other is they hit at each other's midpoint. So like this is the same length as this over here, and then this is the same length as this. And if the diagonals bisect each other, it's a parallelogram. So now we're going to use all that to answer our questions here. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so it says for the first exercise, state which theorem you can use to show that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. So we're looking for which condition out of these 5 this has. So for number 1, it shows this angle equal to this, and this is the same length as this. So opposite angles are congruent. We're going to abbreviate. Opposite angles congruent. Number 2 shows that this is the same length here. These are the same length. So the opposite sides are congruent. That is one of our conditions too. Opposite sides congruent. Number 3, it shows the diagonals here. It shows this the same length as this. So this is like the midpoint of that segment as well as the midpoint of this. The diagonals bisect each other. Diagonals bisect. Keep it simple. Number 4 shows that this angle is the same as here, this is the same as this, and opposite angles congruent. Number 5, these are congruent and they are parallel. And up here it says if one pair of opposite sides are congruent and parallel, then it's a parallelogram. So opposite sides, actually one pair, opposite sides, congruent and parallel. Trying to make it as like short as possible. These are like little parallel lines. In 6, we see that this is the same length as this is the same length as this, and so the diagonals bisect each other. We'll keep it simple. Okay, so now we're going to use these conditions to solve stuff over here. It's very simple solving, it's nothing crazy. So down here it says find the values of x and y that make the quadrilateral a parallelogram. Okay, well, in a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. So if this is 66 degrees, this is 66 degrees, y equals 66 degrees. And then if this is 114, then this is 114, because opposite angles are equal, so x is 114. Okay, and then number 8, in a parallelogram, the opposite sides are equal. So if this is 9, then y equals 9. And if this is 16, same length over here, x equals 16. Okay, we're going to just do number 9. We're not going to do number 10. For 9, again, opposite sides are equal. So this is equal to this, and this is equal to this. So in order to solve for my variables, I need to set these equal. So for x, I'm going to do 4x plus 6 equals 7x minus 3. And I'll solve that. So getting all the x's on one side. Tia, can you take the notes with us, please? Get 9 equals 3x. Divide by 3. And x equals 3. So this all goes with that. And then for y, same thing, we'll set these equal. For y minus 3 equals 3y plus 1. Subtract 3y from both sides. Add 3. Y equals 4. Okay, then we're going to do number 11 and 13 here. We're not going to do 12 and 14. For 11, it says find the value of x that makes a quadrilateral a parallelogram. If this is a parallelogram, then the diagonals bisect each other, and this would be the same length as this. So we can set these equal. 4x plus 2 equals 5x minus 6, and solve for x. So subtract 4x from both sides. Then number 13, opposite sides are equal, so 3x plus 5 equals 5x minus 9. Get the x's on the same side. Get the constants on the same side. And then one more concept that I want to show you because it shows up on the homework and somebody asked me about it. I was like, oh, it would be helpful if I went over that. So like if you have a parallelogram like this, and let's say they draw the diagonal and they say, okay, this is 4x and this is 24 right here. And they say to solve for x, how you need to see it or look at it is like if this is a parallelogram, this side is parallel to this side. And then this would be a transversal here. And then with this condition, the alternate interior angles are equal. So therefore, 4x equals 24. You would set them equal. And then you can solve for x or y or whatever you need to solve for. Okay, that's just all. So your to-do list is your homework on Schoology. I'm also going to pass out a missing assignment report on Schoology and work on that as well. Any missing assignments, and then also finish your Alex. Yes. And stop.